Everyone says Phuket is dying. Empty beaches, struggling businesses, tourists fleeing to Vietnam. But here's the twist. Phuket just had its best high season in 5 years. Hotel occupancy hit record levels. Tourism revenue is projected to grow 10% in 2026. Russian arrivals nearly doubled. The island is actually thriving. So why does everyone think Phuket is losing tourists? Because they're looking at the wrong numbers. And the real reason Phuket is transforming has nothing to do with what you've been told. This is the story nobody's talking about. Let's get the facts straight first. Because the narrative you've probably heard, that Phuket is in terminal decline, is only half true. Yes, Thailand overall saw tourism drop nearly 10% in 2025. Yes, Chinese arrivals to Thailand collapsed by a third. Yes, the strong baht made everything more expensive, and all of that is real. But Phuket? Phuket is a different story. From January to October 2025, Phuket welcomed over 4.16 million international tourists. That's a recovery rate of nearly 98% compared to pre-pandemic levels. The island's high season between late 2025 and early 2026 was described by the Phuket Tourist Association as the best in 5 years. Hotel occupancy peaked exceptionally high during January through April. Tourism revenue for 2025 hit 550 billion baht, about $17.3 billion. That's a 10% increase from 2024. And projections for 2026, another 10% growth, bringing revenue to 605 billion baht. Russia became Phuket's #1 source market with nearly 833,000 visitors, almost double the numbers from India and China. European arrivals grew 12%. Long-haul markets are booking earlier and staying longer than before. So what's going on? If Phuket is supposedly dying, why are the numbers saying the opposite? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Phuket isn't losing tourists. It's losing the wrong tourists and gaining the right ones. At least that's what the government thinks. And that transformation is creating a completely different island than what most people remember. Let's talk about who's actually coming to Phuket now. Because the demographics have shifted dramatically. In 2019, Chinese tourists dominated Phuket. Over 3 million arrivals. They came in tour groups, booked package deals, and spent money in Chinese-owned restaurants, Chinese-speaking shops, and Chinese tour operators. The entire mid-range hotel sector was built around serving them. Then COVID hit. Chinese tourism collapsed. By 2024, only about 1 million Chinese tourists visited Phuket. In 2025, it was even less, around 477,000 in the first 10 months. That's a catastrophic drop, 3 million down to 500,000. And those Chinese tour groups, they're not coming back, not in the numbers they used to. They're going to Vietnam instead, or Japan. Places that feel safer, offer better value, or provide newer experiences. So who replaced them? Russians, Indians, Middle Easterners, Europeans, Australians. Russia sent 803,000 tourists to Phuket in 2025. India sent 488,000. These aren't tour groups on tight schedules. They're independent travelers staying longer, renting villas, spending money at beach clubs, and looking for a different kind of vacation. Europeans are coming during the low season now, escaping winter, booking months in advance, and treating Phuket as a long-stay destination rather than a quick beach stop. And here's where it gets interesting. The government keeps saying they want quality tourists instead of mass tourism. What does that actually mean? It means they want tourists who spend more money per day and stay longer. Russians, Europeans, and Middle Eastern visitors fit that profile better than Chinese tour groups. So Phuket didn't lose tourists. It traded one customer base for another. And the entire island is being redesigned around this new demographic. But here's the twist. This transformation is creating massive problems that nobody's talking about. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Parts of Phuket don't feel like Thailand anymore. They feel like Russia. In areas like Rawai, Kata, Kamala, and Patong, signs are in Russian. Menus are in Russian. Businesses are run by Russians, staffed by Russians, and cater almost exclusively to Russian tourists. One expat called Phuket Thai Disneyland for foreigners. And look, there's nothing inherently wrong with Russian tourists. They spend money, they stay long, they're good for the economy, but when a Thai island starts feeling more like Moscow than Thailand, something's off. Local Thai culture is being drowned out. Traditional businesses can't compete with foreign-owned operations. Thai families are being priced out of their own island because foreign money has inflated property and rental costs beyond what locals can afford. One writer aptly described Phuket's purpose. Its very existence isn't to serve the locals, but tourists and expats with cash. And that's the uncomfortable reality. Phuket has become a playground for wealthy foreigners while locals struggle to maintain their cultural identity and economic foothold. Here's a fun fact. Most waiters and waitresses in Phuket don't speak Thai. Why? Because they're not Thai. They're Burmese migrant workers. So what jobs are the local Thais doing? Mostly government positions, police, bureaucrats, civil servants. The island's character is being erased. Not maliciously, just economically. Foreign money flows in, prices go up, locals move out, culture fades, and tourists get a sanitized, commercialized version of Thailand that's barely Thai at all. Now let's talk about the success story nobody wants to admit. Phuket is actually getting more expensive, and it's working. Here's the conventional wisdom. When tourism is struggling, you lower prices to attract more visitors. But Phuket did the opposite. Prices went up, and revenue grew. Average daily room rates increased. High-end resorts are thriving. Beach clubs charge premium prices. Restaurants are more expensive than ever. And tourists are paying. Why? Because Phuket stopped competing on price and started competing on luxury. The island lifted its 80-meter building height restriction. New high-end developments are being approved. Areas like Bang Tao and Cheng Talay are transforming into upscale hotspots with luxury real estate, premium beach clubs, and lifestyle facilities. Over 4,200 new hotel rooms are in the pipeline from 2025 to 2028, mostly upscale and upper mid-scale properties. Brands like Marriott, Radisson, Wyndham, and Accor are expanding aggressively. This isn't about filling budget hostels. It's about attracting rich travelers who'll drop thousands of dollars per night and think nothing of it. And it's working. Russians with money, Europeans on extended vacations, Middle Eastern families looking for halal-friendly luxury destinations. They're all coming, and they're all paying. One visitor compared eating in Phuket to eating in Lake Como, Italy. Same price, but Lake Como offers better value, and yet people still come to Phuket. Why? Because the marketing machine is powerful. The beaches are still gorgeous, and for many tourists, especially from Russia and the Middle East, Phuket represents an accessible slice of tropical paradise. But here's the problem. By chasing high-end tourists, Phuket is abandoning its mid-range and budget segments. The backpackers who made the island famous? Priced out. The middle-class families looking for affordable beach vacations? Going to Vietnam or Malaysia instead. Phuket is becoming a luxury island. And if you can't afford luxury, you're not welcome. Let's inject some humor here because honestly, some of this stuff is ridiculous. Phuket has a tourist-to-local ratio of 118 to 1. 118 tourists for every local resident. That's not a destination, that's an invasion. Imagine living on an island where you're outnumbered 118 to 1 by people on vacation. Your morning coffee shop, packed with tourists, your favorite beach, can't see the sand through the umbrellas. Your commute to work? Stuck behind a convoy of tour buses. One resident joked that traffic in Phuket isn't measured in kilometers but in hours. How far is the airport? Oh, about 2 hours. But it's only 30 kilometers. Exactly! And the beaches! Oh, the beaches. Instagram shows pristine white sand and crystal clear water. Reality? You arrive at Nai Harn Beach and there's trash scattered everywhere. Beer bottles, plastic cups, flip-flops washed up from Malaysia. After New Year's Eve 2025, Patong Beach looked like a landfill. Garbage everywhere. The photos went viral. Officials scrambled to clean it up. And then it happened again the next week. Or take Maya Bay, made famous by the Leonardo DiCaprio film The Beach. It's supposed to be a 10-minute stop, but because there are over 100 boats doing the exact same tour at the exact same time, you end up spending an hour fighting through crowds just to get to the shore and back. One American traveler described it perfectly. Nothing could have prepared me for the hordes of people. The beaches, even the tours to nearby islands, felt overwhelmingly crowded. And the beach chair mafia. You walk onto Kata Beach hoping to lay down a towel. A guy immediately approaches. 100 baht for a beach chair. You ask where the money goes. Blank stare. You pay anyway and mutter, so long as you use that to clean up the beach. Spoiler, they don't. But my favorite absurdity? The crystal clear water PR spin. Officials kept insisting Phuket's water was pristine. Meanwhile, photographers captured black opaque water flowing from drainage canals directly into the ocean. The mayor's response? It's not pollution, it's just sediment. Right, and I'm not bald, I just have sediment on my scalp. Okay, let's talk about the real problems, the ones that aren't funny. Phuket is the most over-touristed destination on the planet, and the infrastructure can't handle it. The island was designed for 4,000 people. During peak season, the population swells to nearly 1 million. That's 2.5 times the intended capacity. Everything breaks. Traffic is unbearable. Roads are gridlocked. Public transportation is inadequate. Water shortages are common. Electricity disruptions happen regularly. Waste management is a disaster. Phuket generates 961 tons of garbage per day. That's up from 742 tons in 2022. By the end of 2025, it's projected to hit 1,400 tons daily. The island has one main landfill, and it's nearly full. Only 10% of waste gets recycled. The environmental damage is catastrophic. Coral reefs are dying from pollution and erosion. Beaches are littered with plastic. Waterways are contaminated. Marine life is washing up dead with stomachs full of garbage. And the government's response? Band-aids, clean up after festivals, deploy street spraying trucks, but no long-term solutions. No serious investment in infrastructure, no sustainable waste management system. Why? Because short-term profits matter more than long-term sustainability. Developers build new hotels because it's profitable. The government approves them because it generates tax revenue. And tourists keep coming because the marketing is great. But the island is being destroyed in the process, and everyone knows it. They just don't care enough to stop. Here's the part that'll surprise you. Despite all the problems, some people think Phuket is getting better. Let me explain. If you're a budget backpacker looking for authentic Thai culture and pristine, uncrowded beaches, Phuket is a nightmare. Overpriced, overdeveloped, over-touristed. But if you're a wealthy Russian looking for a luxury tropical escape with Russian-speaking staff, familiar food, and a villa with a private pool, Phuket is paradise. If you're a European family wanting a long winter escape with reliable infrastructure, international schools, and Western amenities, Phuket delivers. If you're a Middle Eastern visitor seeking halal-friendly resorts, family-friendly beaches, and luxury shopping, Phuket is perfect. So the island isn't dying, it's just catering to a completely different audience than it used to. And depending on who you are, that's either great news or terrible news. The shift to quality tourism is real. But quality doesn't mean better experiences for everyone. It means higher prices, more exclusivity, and less accessibility. Phuket used to be a place where everyone could afford a beach vacation. Now it's becoming a place where only the wealthy feel comfortable. That's not necessarily worse. It's just different. And honestly, some parts of the island are genuinely improving. New luxury resorts are stunning. Beach clubs are world-class. The food scene is incredible. Infrastructure in the upscale areas is getting better. If you've got money, Phuket in 2025 is probably better than Phuket in 2015. But if you're on a budget, you're out of luck. So what's the actual truth? Why is everyone saying Phuket is losing tourists when the numbers say otherwise? Because the experience is declining even as the revenue is increasing. And that's the disconnect. Tourists are spending more money, but they're having worse experiences. Beaches are dirtier, traffic is worse, crowds are overwhelming, and the authentic Thai vibe is disappearing. So people leave disappointed. They tell their friends not to bother. They post negative reviews online. And the perception spreads that Phuket is over. Meanwhile, a different segment of tourists, ones who care less about authenticity and more about luxury, are perfectly happy. They're booking longer stays, spending more money, and leaving positive reviews. The island is simultaneously thriving and declining depending on which metric you use and which tourist segment you're looking at. Chinese tour groups? Gone. Budget backpackers? Leaving. Middle-class families? Choosing Vietnam. But Russian luxury travelers arriving in record numbers, European long-stayers booking early, Indian families growing steadily. Phuket isn't losing tourists, it's swapping them, and in the process it's becoming a completely different destination. Here's what needs to happen if Phuket wants to sustain this growth without destroying itself. First, invest in infrastructure, not just luxury resorts. public roads, public transportation, waste management, water supply, drainage systems. These aren't glamorous projects, but they're essential. The government approved a 60 billion baht tunnel from Kathu to Patong. Great, but it won't be done until 2029 or 2030. That's 5 years of worsening traffic before any relief comes. Speed it up. Second, manage carrying capacity. The island can't sustainably handle 1 million people during peak season. Either massively upgrade infrastructure to support that load or limit visitor numbers. Other destinations like Venice have done it. Phuket can too. Third, protect the environment. The beaches, reefs, and forests are Phuket's assets. Without them, there's no tourism industry. Invest in reef restoration, create marine protected areas, enforce environmental regulations. Fourth, preserve local culture. Don't let the island become a generic international resort bubble. Promote Thai businesses, require signage in Thai, celebrate local traditions. Make sure tourists experience Thailand, not just a luxury enclave. Fifth, fix the trash crisis. Implement comprehensive waste management. Increase recycling above 10%. Build composting infrastructure. Fine people who litter. Create incentives for sustainable practices. Sixth, balance the tourism mix. Don't abandon the mid-range and budget segments entirely. A healthy tourism ecosystem needs diversity. Luxury travelers, mid-range families, and budget backpackers all contribute in different ways. And finally, be honest. Stop pretending everything is perfect. Admit the problems. Tourists respect honesty. They don't respect spin. Look, Phuket is complicated. It's not a simple story of decline or success, it's both. Simultaneously, the island is thriving financially, tourism revenue is growing, new luxury developments are opening, high-end tourists are arriving in record numbers. But it's also struggling environmentally, culturally, and socially. The beaches are dirtier, the traffic is worse. Local culture is being eroded, infrastructure is strained beyond capacity. So is Phuket dying? No. It's transforming. Into what? That's still unclear. It could become a world-class luxury destination that successfully balances growth with sustainability, or it could become an overcrowded, overdeveloped cautionary tale about what happens when profit trumps planning. Right now, it's heading toward the latter, but it doesn't have to. The island has the resources, the appeal, and the potential to course correct. The question is whether it has the political will, because here's the ultimate irony. Phuket's biggest strength, its ability to attract tourists, is also its biggest weakness. The more successful it becomes, the more it destroys the very things that made it successful in the first place. That's the paradox of tourism, and Phuket is living it in real time. So should you visit Phuket? Absolutely. It's still an incredible destination. The food is amazing. The beaches, when they're clean, are stunning. The culture, where it still exists, is fascinating. Just adjust your expectations. It won't look like the Instagram photos. You'll encounter crowds, traffic, and trash. You'll pay more than you expect, and you'll see more Russian signs than Thai ones in some areas. But if you go in knowing that, you can still have a great time. Choose quieter. Beaches like Layan or Freedom Beach. Avoid Patong unless you love chaos. Visit during shoulder season. Support local Thai businesses. And for God's sake, don't expect authenticity in the tourist zones. If you want authentic Thailand, go to Krabi, Koh Lanta, or Koh Kood. Phuket is what it is, a commercialized, internationalized beach resort island that's really good at making money. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. It depends what you're looking for. Phuket isn't for everyone anymore, but for the right tourist, someone with money who wants luxury, convenience, and doesn't care about cultural authenticity, it's still paradise. So no, Phuket isn't losing tourists. It's losing the tourists who remember what it used to be, and gaining the tourists who like what it's becoming. That's the truth nobody's talking about. Have you been to Phuket recently? What was your experience? Let me know in the comments, and if you found this video helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more travel reality checks. See you in the next one.